Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the online class of English. Children, today we are going to begin with our next topic, and that is subject-verb agreement. After watching this video, you will be aware of the different rules that are necessary for you to know for using the correct subject-verb agreement, and also this will help you in improving your grammatical skills, and yes, it will definitely help you in your writing skills as well. Now, without taking much time, let's get started. First of all, let us know what subject-verb agreement is. The very name only suggests that the subject must agree with the verb. Yeah, means that verb must be used according to the subject in the sentence. The use of verb in a sentence is determined by the number and person of the subject. So a verb is used according to the number and person. Number means whether the subject is singular or plural, and person means whether the subject is first person pronoun, second person pronoun, or third person pronoun. According to this, the verb is used, and this is what is known as subject verb agreement. For example, Rohit plays cricket. In this, Rohit is the subject and it is singular. So according to the singular subject, we have used the verb plays, and it is a singular verb, right? The next sentence is, they are my neighbors. Now here third person pronoun is used, that is they, and they is a plural subject. So according to plural subject, the verb are is used. Now moving ahead to the rules of subject verb agreement. A singular subject like I, you, he, she और singular nouns, these are the singular subjects. ये सारे words singular subjects हैं. It is followed by a singular verb. जब subject आपका singular होता है तो then it is followed by a singular verb. अब singular verbs कैसे हैं? Like first form of the verb plus ses. Children, if you remember the rule of tenses, that time also I told you, when the subject is singular, we use first form of the verb plus s or es, or for framing interrogative or negative sentences, we use does and is, am, was, and has. These verbs are also used with singular subjects only, right? And if the subject is plural, like we, they, you, or plural noun, then it is followed by a plural verb, like first form of the verb, or do. Again I am referring to the tenses, that is, if your subject is I, you, we, they, and plural, we use first form of the verb, and for framing interrogative and negative sentences, we use do. And besides this, are, were, and have, these verbs are also used with plural subjects. Now, for example, a child likes chocolate. See, in the first sentence, a child means one child. Subject is singular. We are using a singular verb, likes. Children like chocolate. Now here subject is plural, so we have used the plural verb like, right? And the next sentence is, I am an Indian. Now here I is the first person pronoun, so according to I, am is used, right? We are Indians. Here first person pronoun is there, but it is a plural subject, so are is used. Now rule number 2 is, a plural verb is used when two or more subjects are connected by and. जब दो या उससे ज़्यादा subjects are joined by and, then we use plural verb. For example, Rohit and Rohan are going to the market. Now here Rohit and Rohan, two subjects are joined by using and. So a plural verb are is used. Now let us see a few more examples. Rajat and Sumit are cousins. So Rajat and Sumit, they are two, so are verb is used, plural verb. Discipline, hard work, and faith in oneself give us success. Now, see here, three things are there: discipline, hard work, and faith. Give, plural verb is used. 2 and 2 make 4. Now, 2 and 2. 2 plus 2, दो चीज़ें हो गई. So, a plural verb make is used. Time and tide wait for no one. Time, one thing is time, another thing is tide. So plural subject, so plural verb wait is used. Now the third rule: if two nouns refer to the same person or the thing or express a singular idea, then the verb is singular. जब दो nouns एक ही चीज़ को रेफर कर रहे हो, right, then we use a singular because they both are referring to the same person. For example, the poet and novelist is no more. See children, here look at this example very carefully. The poet and novelist, the same person is the poet and the same person is the novelist, so a singular verb is used. Children, in case यहाँ पर novelist से पहले भी द लगा होता, then it would have meant two different people, then we would have used are, right? अगर sentence होता ना the poet and the novelist, तो उसका मतलब होता कि ये two people हैं. But here since the is not used with novelist, so we are using the singular verb is. The producer and director of this movie is a social worker. Again, a similar example, the same person is the producer and director, right, is a social worker. Now moving ahead to rule number 4, the verb must agree with the proper subject and not with the word placed before it. Children, now sometimes we people get confused, और जो हमारे पास जो नियर बाय वर्ड होता है ना वर्ब के, वी यूज़ द वर्ब अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट द नियर वर्ड. नो, वी शुड बी वेरी केयरफुल बाय यूजिंग इट. द वर्ब मस्ट एग्री विद द प्रॉपर सब्जेक्ट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, this will be clear to you by looking at this example: the attitude of the officers. Now see here, we are not talking about the officers, we are talking about the attitude, so we will use the verb according to the word attitude. The attitude of the officers is really friendly. Another example: the condition of these books. Now here we are not referring to these books, we are referring to the condition. जो हमारा main subject है वो condition है, right, is not good. Now moving ahead to the next example, rule: if two nouns refer to the same person or express one idea, then the verb is singular. When two nouns they refer to the same person or same idea, then the verb is singular, right? For example, slow and steady wins the race. Now see here, slow and steady दोनों ही रेफर कर रहे हैं स्पीड को, and they mean to move slowly. So we are using a plural verb wins. Bread and butter is my favorite breakfast. Bread and butter, बच्चे ये ब्रेड के ऊपर ही बटर लगता है ना, अकेला तो we don't eat butter. So it becomes one, so a singular verb. Rice and curry is my favorite. Again, when we mix rice and curry, they become one. So is my favorite. Now next rule is: more than one singular subject joined by or, nor, either or, neither nor, take a singular verb. Children, with the words like or, nor, either or, neither nor, we use a singular verb. Now let's see the example. The milkman or the gardener rings the bell first. Children, if you remember, just 2 minutes before I have told you that when article is used with the second subject also, this means that there are two different people. Now see here in this example, it will become clear to you: the milkman or the gardener, or the gardener. The के साथ milkman, the के साथ ही gardener. So it becomes two, the milkman or the gardener. अब choice है, और है, या तो milkman या gardener, दोनों में से कोई एक हो गया तो singular verb will be used. Rings the bell first. Neither Varun nor Rohan was present. Means ना ही वरुण ना ही रोहन, दोनों ही नहीं present थे, right? But We are talking about neither nor, either or. I told you that with these words we use singular verb. Neither Varun nor Rohan means neither of them was present. Neither of the two plans is suitable. Again, neither of the two plans. कोई भी plan suitable नहीं था. Means we are referring to each one of them separately. Now coming to rule number 7, if the number of the subject joined by or, nor, either or, neither nor, then the is different, the verb agrees with the later subject. Now see children, जो हमने पहले examples लिए हैं उनमें दोनों ही subject singular हैं, but sometimes you will notice that in the sentence one subject is singular and the other is plural. एक subject singular होता है, एक subject plural, and they are joined by using either or neither nor. In that case, यानी अगर either nor और या neither nor में दोनों सब्जेक्ट हैं, एक सिंगुलर और एक प्लूरल हो यानी डिफरेंट हो, then the verb will agree with the latter one. Latter one means the one which has come afterwards. Look at the example. Neither he or either he or I am wrong. Now which is the latter one? यानी बाद में कौन सा सब्जेक्ट आया? I. तो I के अकॉर्डिंगली हमने am यूज किया है. Either you or your friends. Now which is the latter one subject? Your friends. So according to that we have used have broken the window. Now moving to rule number 8. When two subjects are joined by not only but also, the subject agrees with the later subject. So when two nouns are joined by using the words not only but also, जब दो subjects not only but also के साथ join होते हैं, then also the verb agrees with the later subject, यानी जो बाद में subject आया है. For example, not only the master but also his servants. Now which is the subject which has come afterwards? Servants or master? Servants? Yes, you are right in thinking so. And according to the subject servants, we have used the verb have been arrested. Now moving ahead to rule number 9. When the subject consists of two nouns or pronouns and is joined with words like as well as, with, besides, along with, not following the subject, then the verb agrees with the first subject. Children, अभी हमने examples करी हैं कि like either or neither nor में if the subjects are different then the verb agrees with the later one, बाद वाले के साथ. और अगर सेंटेंस में not only but also है तो भी जो verb है वो बाद वाले subject के साथ agree करेगा. Now here in this sentence when the subject consists of two nouns, when two nouns are there in the subject and they are joined by using certain words like as well as, with, along with, besides, ऐसे words के साथ दो subjects जुड़े हुए हैं, then the verb will agree with the first subject, यानी जो subject पहले आया. Look at the example. Divya as well as Ritu rises early in the morning. Now here first subject is singular, Divya. According to Divya we have used rises, that is singular verb. The ministers subject is plural, not the president. Here president is singular, but our first subject was ministers. So according to ministers we have used the verb are responsible for the crisis. Next is he with all his friends was ready to go. Now which is your first subject? He. Which is your later subject? Friends. But they are joined by using the word as well as. So the verb will agree with the first subject, that is he. He as well as, he with his friends. But you know this sentence is joined with the word with. He with all his friends was ready to go. Here according to the first subject he, we use the verb was. Now the last rule, the last rule, but the last rule on this page is each, everyone, anyone, anybody, somebody, someone, one of the, take a singular verb. When these words are there in the sentence like each, everyone, anyone, anybody, someone, somebody, or one of the, then the verb is singular. For example, each of these sisters sings well. So here we are referring to each sister individually. So the verb will also be singular, that is sings. Everyone is invited to the program. Now here everyone refers to every person individually. So singular verb is used. Rule number 11 is that when the words like either of, each of, neither of are used in the sentence, then they take a plural subject but singular verb. After these words, plural subject will be used, but the verb will be singular. For example, each of the boys. Now see here, each is used and after that the plural verb boys is used. But the verb is singular. Each of the boys has done well. Right? Either of the students, with either plural subject, students is used. But the verb is singular. Either of the students is good. Now coming to rule number 12. Some sentences begin with here or there. In these sentences, the subject comes after the verb. So, children, when the sentence begins with here or there, then the subject comes after the verb. So you have to be very, very careful. See what the subject is, whether it is singular or plural. Then according to the subject which comes later, means which comes after the verb, according to the subject, you have to use the verb. For example, there are 5 girls in this room. Now girls word is coming after the verb are. Right? So we will see that what is the subject of the sentence when the sentence is beginning with here or there. Now rule number 13 is that when the words like much or a little is used, then they take a singular verb. For example, much has been said on this topic. Right? A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. So after these words like much and a little, singular verb is used. Coming to rule number 14, when the collective nouns like group, team, herd, committee, flock, bouquet, audience, etc., when collective nouns are used, then the verb might be singular or plural depending on the meaning. For example, the team plays well. Here we are referring to one whole team, right? So the verb is singular, that is plays. Another example is the team are spending their leisure time in the countryside. Now here we are referring to every member of that team separately. So that is why it can be singular or plural. But yes, it will change the meaning of your sentence, right? Now moving ahead to rule number 15. But before that, let us see this note. The collective nouns such as a bunch of, a bouquet of, a set of, a pack of, they take plural nouns but singular verb, right? For example, a team of players is ready. Now here we are talking about a team. We are not talking about players, right? A flock of sheep is grazing. Rule number 15, if the subject is one of the plus plural noun, then the verb used is singular. Means whenever the phrase one of the is used, then singular verb is used. For example, Diwali is one of my famous festivals, children, and remember, after one of the, always a plural subject is used. One of the famous festivals, right? But subject is singular. For example, one of my cousins plays chess very well. Rule number 16. Certain nouns like news, physics, billiards, politics, mathematics, furniture, measles, etc. they appear to be plural in form. लग तो ऐसा रहा है क्योंकि s लगा हुआ है तो it seems as if they are plural but singular in meaning. So a singular verb will be used with these words like news, physics, billiards, politics, mathematics, etc. Example, the news is broadcasted every day at 8 p.m. Physics is my favorite subject. Now rule number 17. Certain nouns like spectacles, pants, shoes, scissors, trousers, etc. are always plural unless preceded by a pair of. अगर तो इन वर्ड्स के साथ लाइक ट्राउजर्स पैंट्स एट्सेट्रा के साथ अ पेयर ऑफ नहीं लगा देन यू विल कंसिडर these words as singulars and you will use singular verb. For example, her shoes are terribly uncomfortable. Her shoes. We are talking about shoes and children, you all know that shoes are always two. हम लोग हमेशा दोनों पैरों के लिए शूज़ बाय करते हैं ना. We never buy one single shoe, right? So it is always a pair. So her shoes are uncomfortable. A pair, but when we are using a pair, then we will use singular verb. A pair of shoes is provided by the school for the students. Rule number 18. Words representing a fixed distance, weight, amount, take a singular verb. Now the words which represent fixed distance or they tell us the weight of something or amount of something, then singular verb is used. For example, 1000 rupees, exact amount हो गई, is a lot of money. 20 miles, although हम 20 miles की बात करें, but we will consider it as a unit. 20 miles is a comfortable distance to drive. 5 quintals of rice is sufficient to feed many hundred people. 5 quintals. Although we are referring to 5 quintals, but we will consider it as a whole. Rule number 19. The verb in relative clause must agree with the subject qualified by it. For example, I who am poor. Now see, I who am poor. Now this am is used for the word I and who am poor is a relative clause. A relative clause is a clause that gives us some information about the subject. Now जब भी हम relative clause use करते हैं, right, then the verb agree with the subject and not used otherwise, right? Rule number 20. Some English words are always singular and take singular verb. For example, advice, progress, dust, traffic, equipment, music, food, weather, etc. These words will always take a singular verb. For example, dust is everywhere. All the apparatus in the lab is new. Now we are referring to all the apparatus. When the word apparatus is used, then we will refer to a singular verb. Equipments हो गए ना ये, right? Now rule number 21. If more than is followed by plural subject, we use plural verb. More than के बाद plural subject आएगा अगर, तो हम plural verb ही लेंगे. For example, more than 2 students. अब more than आया 2 students. Plural verb आ गया have done very well. Rule number 22. Titles of single entities or books, organization, countries, etc. are always singular. Children, obviously जब बुक का टाइटल है राइट या किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में आप बात कर रहे हो देन it is considered as one and we will use a singular verb. For example, Harry Potter is an interesting novel. Children, I would like to give you another example also. Sometimes the name of the book is plural. For example, the Arabian Nights. अब इसमें nights word है तो उसको देखकर confused नहीं होना है. Even then we will use a singular verb only. For example, the Arabian Nights is my favorite book. Moving ahead, rule number is 23. Words like many, both, several, a few, many of, several of, a few of, two of, a number of, and a majority of, dozen of, 100, 1,000, million, etc. take a plural verb. With all these words, a plural verb is used. For example, a few of the boys are hardworking. Means we are referring to a few of the boys, right? Several students have failed in annual examination. Several means a lot, many, right? So we will use a plural verb. Now rule number 24, many a is followed by a verb in the singular. When the word many a is written, then after that a singular verb is used. For example, many a girl has become conscious of her rights. Means many of the girls, they are conscious of their rights. Many a student is absent today. Means many of the students, they are absent today. Rule number 25 is that the modals like can, could, may, might, will, shall, would, should, they are used in the same form with both singular and plural subjects. So these modal auxiliaries, they are always used in the similar way in both singular and plural subjects. For example, you should respect your parents or we should respect our parents. Now whether the subject is singular or plural, the same modal auxiliary is used. Had, did and verbs in the past tense. Children, जब had लगा हो sentence में या did हो या past tense का word हो, then they are used in the same form with both singular and plural subjects. So you can say basically that past tense verbs, they are used in the same form with both singular and plural subjects, right? For example, I met her and we met her. Now children, although I have explained all the rules, but these rules are useless until and unless you practice, right? So now I want you to do practice in BBC, right? Thank you so much children. God bless you. Thanks for watching my video.